Live. It is Thursday, January 31st, 2019. God, can you believe it is the last day of January? That means we're 31 days into 2019. What really blows my mind is that would make us 330 some days away from 2020. 2020, it seems such like a far off, crazy futuristic number. Anyways, I'm going to quickly share this on a couple of my other pages. And if you would like to do the same, feel free to invite people. And in the meantime, why don't we have some fun with this and say hello, where you're logging in from, and what the weather is where you're at right now. What is the current weather? I was talking with a friend earlier today who's in Minnesota, and it was minus 22 when we were on the phone. She kept showing me her temperature, minus 22. I was like, it's 60 here and it's cold. Anyways, say hello, where you're logging in from, and what the temperature is wherever you are. And then we'll get started in just a moment here. I just have a couple of really quick shares to do that. And as I do that, just a reminder, tomorrow at this same time, we're going to do our Q&A. So if you have a question to submit for tomorrow's Q&A, right now we're just leaving it in the comments. You can post it in the comments and just ask your question, and then just note it, tomorrow's Q&A or something like that, or Friday Q&A, whatever you need to do to designate clear. And then I just have one more quick share to do on here. Oopsie. And then we'll be ready to go. Tomorrow we're going to do Q&A. Any questions that you have that I could answer, you can post them. I would love to be able to do that. And then, how to do that watch party. I don't know why I love these stills it picks. This one, it's got this of me doing this, so it look like I'm popping my neck or something. Facebook really does a great job of picking stills. See. Okay, we got that going. Sorry, I'm just mumbling to myself. I think we have everything lined up now. Let's see who's on here. Carrie, Jamie, what's up? Give that a minute to load in. And then while we're giving everybody a chance to log in, Linda, hey, Linda, 41. Bridget, what's up, Bridget? Okay, we got that moved over here. Okay, Facebook Live, so make sure you're on the Facebook Live registration page. I'll be sending out the schedule for next week to this list. So that schedule will go out probably Saturday at some point, but you can get on that here. And I would love for you all to be on that. Just makes it easy to stay on top of everything. The TED Talk update. TED Talk is on its way to 1,100 views right now. So it's getting some momentum behind it. Isn't it appropriate that we're talking about momentum this week as we got our little TED Talk? And I say our because I feel like this is a community effort now to get this out to the people that we want to get it out from. So first of all, huge thanks to all of you who have been sharing it, who have commented on it, who have liked it. If you found value in it, what I ask is just please go onto the YouTube page, and I'll put the link up here in just a second, and give it a thumbs up, and then leave a comment. It is so engagement on it, because the more engagement that page has on it, the more YouTube says, oh, this is something good. It promotes, and maybe it goes more out to the TED community. I don't know. I don't understand how all those things go. This is just what I've been told, what I understand about all this stuff. So I'm really trying to get it out into the world. And if you find it to be of value to you, please, please, please help spread the word. My goal is to get it in front of 1 million people before the end of the year, and you can get access to that there. So I would love to hear your feedback on it, questions about that. And then if you want to be a part of the Q&A tomorrow too, and if you have questions about the TED Talk, we can definitely go over that as well then too. Carolyn, what's up? Hey, Gertrude. Anita, hey, Anita, how are you? Utah, 42 degrees, but sunny. Oh, that's not too bad. I could handle 42. Carol, what's up, Carol? Good to see you on here. Casey, hey, Casey. So I think that's it for updates today. Let's go ahead and jump into... Oh, that's right. Thanks for reminding me, Linda. So if any of you do... Has anybody here read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? Have any of you read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? If you haven't, it's definitely worth the read, because it's really, I think, a foundational book for what much of the personal development world had evolved from. Some of the principles in it are in so much of the other teachings and stuff, and I've definitely learned and extrapolated a lot from it too. And Dr. Hill has died, I don't know how many years ago, but his work carries on and it still remains extremely influential. And I think that if you whenever you embark on a personal development journey, and you'll look at different books and they'll have a recommended reading, the Think and Grow Rich is almost always in there. Anyways, the people who run the social media account that's affiliated with him reached out to me about doing an interview on Instagram, on their Instagram Live, which I just did a little bit ago. So if you want to check that out, and you head over to, if you just type in Napoleon Hill on Instagram, I think they have like 180 or 200,000 followers or something like that. And it might be, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something like that. That interview is up there right now. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. It's on Instagram, and then I think it's on their live. So I think that stays up there for probably 24 hours. And then I think they're putting it on Instagram TV too. I'm not 100% certain on that, but if it's on their Instagram TV account. So that's over there right now. And yeah, they were really generous and gracious, and we talked quite a bit about the TED Talk, and I'm hoping that opens it up to that community a little bit more. And it just helps us march that much closer to our goal and getting this in front of the people who need it. So with that being said, let's dive into today's training, which is how to keep your momentum even when life is challenging. So how to keep your momentum even when life is challenging. This is going to be the fourth part of our 4-part momentum series. And then tomorrow we'll be doing the Q&A. So we've talked about ways to generate momentum. We've talked about why momentum is absolutely crucial. We've talked about some of the challenges and obstacles that keep us from building momentum. And today we're going to bring it back to just reality with, all this stuff is great in theory, right? It's great concepts, it's great ideas. And one of the things I always struggled with when I first started embarking on my personal growth journey is I felt like everybody was teaching from the best case scenario, right? Where all these tools, all these techniques, everything sounded so great in theory. And in the most ideal and upbeat, optimistic circumstances, it sounded wonderful. But the problem is like that life doesn't always happen that way, does it? We're gonna have deep freezes happen. We're going to have loved ones pass away. We're going to have sickness. We're going to have challenges to our health. We're going to have all these things that we're going to have to work through to get from where we are to where we want to be. And so I think what's really imperative with this is that we as we're learning here, we learn in context of the reality of life, which the reality of life is that life is going to be challenging. And so if we're really living, we're going to have challenges. We're going to have obstacles. We're going to have tough times that we're going to go through. That is going to be a direct challenge to our momentum. And if we want to get from where we are to where we want to be, we need to be able to maintain and keep our momentum going despite those life challenges. So I have 3 ideas I want to share with you today about this. And then we'll open it up for questions and comments and discussion at the end. So feel free to take notes and whatnot. Oh, wait, is it frozen? Oh, not frozen. Okay, cool. I just saw that, not frozen. Everybody's seeing me okay, right? So the first one I want to throw out there for all of you is, it might seem kind of counterintuitive when we're talking about things like momentum and movement and that sort. And I think it also might seem counterintuitive in much of the what's espoused online now is right about hustling, about working harder, which I totally believe. I'm a huge fan of that, a huge proponent of that, putting in that effort. But I also enjoy life, and I like having some lazy time from time to time. And so the first thing I'm going to share with you about how to keep your momentum going, even when life is challenging, is to rest. Now, why is that? It doesn't seem like it would make sense that we rest to keep the momentum going, but here's the truth. The truth is that if you are sick, if you are worn down, if you have just found out that someone you love has passed away, or you have a relationship that's falling apart or something like that, it is going to be an extremely taxing mental and emotional time for you. It is going to be one of the most challenging, if not the most challenging experience and endeavor you'll ever go through. And while it's important to keep moving forward and pushing forward and all that, we have to rest. We have to give ourselves some time to recharge, because if we just try to keep pushing and pushing and pushing when we're not doing anything to fill us up, if we use this water bottle, our trusty water bottle here as a metaphor, and this is our energy, right? And this is probably pretty accurate after we go through a loss, life happens, is here's our potential energy, but it's really zapped down to here. Well, if we keep dumping this into everything else, it's only a matter of time until it's empty. And then when it's empty, then what? You find yourself like I talked about yesterday, where my car's broken down in the middle of the road and I'm trying desperately to push it out of the way, but to no avail. So we have to take time to rest. We have to take time to recharge. We have to take time to take care of ourselves. We're not going to be able to keep the momentum going if we run out of gas. So and resting doesn't mean stop, right? Many of you might have heard me share this before, but I'm a firm believer that not every day we're going to be at 100%. It's just not going to happen. I would be lying to you if I said, oh yeah, I'm at 100% every day. I'm far from it. But what we can do is we can give 100% of whatever we have each day. So we may be only at 20 or 30%. There's been some days where I've probably been at 5 or 10 because it just was, life had happened. Somebody I loved died. But what I could do is I could give 100% of what I had. And then I would step back away from it and use that time to rest and recover. So consider that, evaluate yourself where you are every day and just check in and see, where am I at today? Am I at 20%? Am I at 100%? Am I at 30%? Am I at 48%? And then make it your mission to give what you can of that, and then leave yourself some time to rest and recover afterwards. Right? In exercise, we talk about our muscles get stronger, not during exercise, but they get stronger during the rest and recovery part. The exercise is where we challenge them, and it's the rest and recovery part where we actually see them grow stronger and whatnot. So that's the first one. Second one is going back to your reasons. We talked about yesterday about how important it is to have reasons that get the momentum going. And if we find ourselves our momentum is starting to slow, if we find ourselves struggling to generate the momentum that we want, the fastest way to get it going again is to come back to your reasons why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. See, we talked about yesterday that if you don't have compelling reasons, if you don't have a reason that pushes you, challenges you, inspires you, there's going to be nothing at all that's going to get you to go and do what you want to do or what you need to do. So the reasons are going to be what drive us. The reasons are going to be what make us get out of bed. The reasons are going to be what gets us to push that boulder and keep it going. And if you find yourself ever getting challenged by life, which will happen, it's going to be this thing right in front of us. It's going to seem so consuming. It's going to be so hard to see beyond it. But what we need to do in those moments is we need to allow ourselves to peer past it, just even for an instant, and look at what the reason is on the other side of that, about why we started what we were doing in the first place. See, we can always come back to our reasons, and that will help us keep the momentum going, because when life is happening and we feel like it's up to here and we're struggling to breathe, it can be really hard to remember those things. But if we allow ourselves to connect to those reasons why we started in the first place, we will find a way to get back to the momentum. And it may not be at full capacity like it was the day before, but we can give our best for where we are that day. Is this making sense so far? Yes. Is this helpful so far? Everyone's a little quiet today. So the third thing with it, I want to touch on with you all, and then we'll open this up for questions and discussion, is external support and accountability. You have heard me say accountability, and you will hear me say it over and over and over and over and over again. Accountability is crucial to achieving anything and everything you want in your life. And having external support, external accountability, see, it's really hard for us to get out of our own way and get out of our own story that we're telling ourselves about why things are the way we are, especially when life is happening. But if we have someone externally who will be there to help support us, to help hold us accountable, to help hold us to a higher standard than we may hold ourselves to, someone who can help pick us up when we trip and fall down, it's going to be paramount in helping us get the momentum and sustain it. We can do a lot. I've said that a couple times this week. There's that proverb that goes, by myself, I can go far, but together, or no, I can go fast, but together I can go far. And we really do need to have that support system around us, whether it's friends, family, mentors, coaches, therapists, doctors, whatever that is for you. But having those people around you who can support you, especially when life is happening, especially when things are down. I think I shared with you all the other day about how when my dad had passed away, it was a few months after my friend Gabe had committed suicide. And I had gotten to this point where I didn't have the tools I have now. I didn't know anything that I know. And regardless of having tools or not, these were two hugely significant losses in a very short amount of time. And I was so tired of feeling sad and depressed and lost. And so on that particular day, I went to the store and bought a 6-pack of beer and came home with the full intention of drinking the entire thing just to try to numb myself out so I wouldn't feel anything. And knowing that that's probably not the most healthy way to approach it, I texted one of my closest friends and just said, hey, I want you to know this is what I'm going to do. And I'm telling you this right now because if you see me continue to do this behavior, you have full permission to slap me. And he wrote back and said, you know what's best for you. And I promise you that I will slap you if need be. And I did that because I wanted to have that external support. I wanted to have that external accountability. Now, thankfully, he never needed to slap me, but probably a part of that was just because I put it out there and I enlisted his help. I enlisted his support. I enlisted his accountability. It forced me to hold myself to a higher standard than I may have otherwise held myself to in that moment. Because in that moment, I felt pretty low. And I was doing something that, while it felt like it was what I needed to do to cope at the time, and it was the only thing I felt like I knew how to do, it could have gone down a dark path very quickly. So having him and that external support, it forced me to raise my standard. It forced me to think outside of the story I was telling myself right then. And that story is my life is so in shambles and that I don't know who I am. I don't know how to get back from this. I don't know what to do, that I just need a break. I need to not feel. I don't want to feel anymore. Those kinds of things. So it got me outside of that story and it gave me that little bit of light. It was like, imagine going into and you're stuck in the mud pit, but you're giving yourself a rope to pull yourself out of. It was the difference of having the rope and being able to pull yourself out of and then going in there without the rope at all. It made all the difference in the world. So that's what I have for you all today. 3 ways to keep your momentum going even when life is challenging. Number 1, resting, recharging. Remember, you may not be at 100% every day, but you can still give 100% of wherever you are, whether that's 30%, 50%, etc. Give your best with what you have and then give yourself some time to rest and recover. You got to be able to recharge. Number 2, remember, come back to your reasons. We talked a lot about reasons yesterday. You got to have reasons. So when life's happening and it's right in the face and you can't see anything past it, take a breath and just lean and look beyond and check in with what your reasons were. Why did you start on the journey in the first place? What got you going? And connect to those reasons, and that will help you keep the momentum going. And then number 3 is external support. Having some sort of external support, external accountability, coaches, mentors, friends, family members, whoever that is, have someone or a group of someone's in your corner that's going to help you hold yourself to a higher standard and is going to help you be able to work through the things, the challenges and obstacles you may not be able to work through otherwise. And these, my friends, these are the game changers. These are really the key to keeping the momentum going. So I hope this is helpful for all of you. What questions you have, what comments do you have, you can go ahead and start posting those. And then while you're doing that, I'm just going to quickly recap. So remember, tomorrow at noon is going to be our live Q&A. If you have a question to submit to that, just put it in the comments somewhere on here and type in live Q&A question or Friday Q&A, something like that, just so I know and I don't come back and answer it later on, and I'll save it for live. Number 2, be sure to sign up for the Facebook reminder list, which I will post that in here right. See, that's not it. That's it. Be sure to sign up for our reminder list so that way you can stay up to date on what the schedule is. I'll send next week's schedule out probably on Saturday, and you can do that right there. I'll also be able to update that with all the time changes, anything like that. Finally, and then we'll open up to questions and comments. Our TED Talk is well on its way to 1,100 views, so it seems like it's picking up a little bit momentum, and I think that's a pretty damn good round for the first week of it in release. If you've seen it before, if you've seen it already and you found value in it, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and then also leave a comment on there. Just a short comment. It can be a few words. It could be one sentence just saying your biggest takeaway from it. You know, if it helped you, if it made a difference, if you knew someone who you benefited from and you sent it to your mom or something, or you sent it to your brother, whatever the case may be is. But just leave a little something on there to let other people know that they're in the right place. They're in a space where they can learn, they can grow, and they're right where they need to be to get the information, the support, the love that they need. So I really, really appreciate all of you doing that. It means the world to me. So many of you have already done that. And I really, truly believe that the reason that we're up to almost 1,100 views now is because so many of you have been so proactive in talking about the TED Talk and sharing it and supporting it and going on there and liking and going on commenting. And I just, it means the world to me that you're taking the time to do that. So you can do that with this link here. And I think that's it. What questions do you have for me? Kathy, I've certainly got resting down. Good, Kathy. I'm glad you're learning that. It's an important skill. Anita, exactly how I'm feeling right now. Has this been helpful, Anita? Hey, Teresa, good to see you on here. Any questions or comments about today or the momentum series in general? This is our fourth one we've done, so we spent a lot of time talking about momentum this week. Has it been helpful? Have you gotten a lot out of it? You know, anybody want to share their biggest takeaways from it? I have a few extra minutes, and then we got to jump off here. It seems like we're a little quiet on here today, so I think we'll wrap it up rather than keeping everybody around and seeing if there's questions. So if you do have questions, just earmark them for tomorrow's Q&A, and hopefully that we get enough questions coming in that we'll have a really positive thing. Remember, you all voted on this, so let's be proactive about getting some questions. You know, have some friends, family maybe who haven't joined in, and they might have a question that I could help them with. It might be a great time to introduce them to what we got going on here. And I think that's it. So wherever you all are, whether it's morning, noon, or night, I wish you all a spectacular rest of your day. And remember, carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. This is the only one you are guaranteed, so make the absolute most of it. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your amazing support and dedication with the TED Talk this week. I really hope that we can keep pushing at it. The goal is at least 1 million people before the end of the year, and we're 900 and what is it? We have 998,000 and a little change to go. So we're on our way. All right, we'll see you next time, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.